Oh, we forgot to talk about Dave getting it right, getting his trifecta on your MotoGP. Dave hitting it on the trifecta.
What was the payout, Dave?
0.
Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome to this week's episode of Bets and Buds. We're the Buds helping you cash your bets. I am Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back to this episode. What's up, Bobby? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Man, get ready to be dog days of summer here.
Oh, yeah.
Like the last little bit of NFL news was schedule release, but we got playoff action still going. Still a long run before we get to the end of our playoffs right here between NHL and NBA. Man, so how have you enjoyed this hockey playoffs, man?
I like it. It's been an exciting first round.
It has been.
Only one series has been really a dud in my. Well, actually, none of them been a dud so far, because the Carolina Hurricanes have brought that one back.
Yes, they have. The Hurricanes are coming.
After being down 3-0 to the Rangers, the Carolina Hurricanes have won the last 2 games, and they're going back to Carolina.
Yes.
So, I mean, if they win this game tonight, there's a real chance that the Rangers are in trouble, because, man, you start gripping that stick a little bit tighter.
And apparently what we looked up, it's happened 4 times the teams come back 3-0?
It has happened 4 times. It has happened 4 times. The last time it was the Kings over the San Jose Sharks. Sharks were up 3-0. Kings came back and won that game series and went on to win the Cup that year.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, hell, I mean, if you come back 3-0, I mean, that's one hell of a run.
Yeah, that could propel you onto a deep playoff run. And Carolina's a good team anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they were the favorites coming into this Stanley Cup playoffs. So. Yeah.
So that series is 3-2 Rangers. The other series out in the East is Florida-Boston. That one is 3-2 Florida. Boston winning the last game 2-1 with Marchand being off the ice. So there's a chance he comes back for Game 6. Boston's definitely got to win that one at home, obviously, to take it to a Game 7. But I think Florida gets it done.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Florida gets it done. Paul Maurice, their coach, was not happy with the team after that game the other night.
Swayman played a hell of a game, man. He did. Swayman played a hell of a game.
But Maurice was dropping F-bombs left and right. They definitely had to bleep that one out on the NHL network.
Yeah.
So that's 3-2 Florida. I think they win that series ultimately, though.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see Florida holding on. Yeah. I mean, unless it goes to a Game 7, then you never know what happens in the Game 7.
But, I mean, that does go back to Florida, though.
Yeah,
so at least you got home ice.
Yeah, but home ice doesn't mean shit in the Stanley. I mean, think about that when we went when the.
You're right. The Blues actually had a losing record in the playoffs at home that year.
Yes.
So out in the West, you've got Dallas up 3-2 over Colorado after Colorado's win, a pretty dominating win in Game 5, actually.
Yes.
5-2. I don't know. With Colorado, you just don't know. With the suspensions and the injuries.
With Valerie Nushkin?
With everything that's going on in that clubhouse right now. I don't know about Colorado.
But it could rally the boys together. You never know.
It could. Yeah. They looked really bad in Game 4. I think the news hit them like before skate.
Yeah, so. Literally like an hour before, I think.
Yeah, right. They were like, oh, God, our guy's gone. But I still think Dallas ultimately gets that one done, too. So the Dallas is up 3-2. The other one, that series, Vancouver-Edmonton, tied 2-2.
Yeah.
This is the Battle of Canada right here.
Yes, it is.
So I said Edmonton's going to win this series, but, man,
Vancouver's they're not playing, man. It's going to be a tough one.
No, this is going to be a
dogfight.
Vancouver with what's going on with their goaltending in the playoffs, and they're still managing to get
they're
it done.
They're on their third-string goalie.
Third-string goalie,
so. Oh, shit.
With what they're doing is pretty good. Vancouver could definitely win that series,
yes.
But I still like Edmonton.
Yeah, I like Edmonton to pull that out just out of the long run, depending on the goaltending.
Ultimately, I want Edmonton to win. They're just a more exciting looking team.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see enough McJesus and Draisaitl. I mean, those boys are fun to watch. I mean,
Hyman.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an explosive team to watch. They're just so top heavy.
That's
the one thing they like. That's one thing always the Blues fans we always try to tell them, temper your expectations about getting that superstar, because you don't want your team to be that top heavy, because it's hard to win a cup that way.
You can't win anything.
Yeah, it's hard to win a cup that way, definitely.
Okay, that's the NHL playoffs. What we got for the NBA, Jason?
All right, NBA, man. NBA, it's been live. It's been heating up. Well, the Celtics have already advanced. They closed out the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are out of here. Probably Donovan Mitchell's last game with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He may be coming to the Lakers next year, or maybe the Spurs. There's a couple teams that they're actually looking at for him to move on to. But what we got, the teams, series that are still active now, we got the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Nuggets have shown their...
Yeah, they won 3 in a row now. right.
I said that. I was like, man, if the Nuggets let them tie this series, the Timberwolves let them tie this series up, they're going to have a hard time beating the Nuggets going forward. Joker went crazy last game, man. I mean, Rudy Gobert, he made him look foolish the whole game. Put up 40 points, 13 rebounds. I think he had about like 6 to 8 assists. I mean, Joker went nuts. I mean, Joker went absolutely nuts. Jamal Murray's gotten back on his game. So
Denver's ultimately the better team.
Yeah, I mean, they are ultimately the better team. They're more experienced. They got the pedigree.
Right.
And the biggest thing, like their biggest kind of silent sleeper is Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is he's done great defensively, shutting down Karl Anthony Towns. I'm making it hard on him. He has to run the floor with him because he's so athletic. So I mean, he's done an amazing job in this series, and he's always their silent hero, pretty much out of that team, going forward. So then we got the Mavs and OKC. The Mavs are up 3-2. You're going back and forth between Kyrie and Luka having some dominant performances, putting up some big clutch performances. Again, more of a veteran team there. They're able to these young guns. The OKC's nice. I mean, they're balling, but these young guns, the older guys are kind of showing these young guns hey, you got a little bit of time, not just yet, young fellas.
Do you think the Mavs ultimately?
Yes, I think the Mavs ultimately going to pull this one out here. I mean, I really do. Just because out of, like I said, that veteran presence, I think OKC is right there. They're not going to endure, but they're one of the youngest teams in the playoffs still, so it's going to be hard for them, I think, to really overcome that. Okay. Then the last one here, this one I think is going to go 7. So we got the Knickerbockers and the Pacers. The Knickerbockers and the Pacers coming back to Indianapolis. They're coming back to Indianapolis, and I think Indianapolis is going to take this one and take it to Game 7.
And take it to Game 7.
Now, after that, let's see how this ends. For the Game 7, it's kind of a toss-up.
The Knicks are hurting right now.
Yes, they're hurting a lot. I mean, they got a lot of injuries right now. Obviously, Julius Randle's been out. They lost Mitchell Robinson the rest of the playoffs. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of turnover in this game. So, if the Pacers can pull this off, send it to Game 7, I like their chances. Either one of these teams, I don't really give much of a shot to do anything against the Celtics. Yeah, against the Celtics, especially if Porzingis gets back. I mean, because that's the one thing. Boston's doing all this without Kristaps Porzingis, right. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's the NBA playoffs right now in a quick nutshell and summary. And the next thing we got is a PGA Championship.
Okay.
PGA Championship. So it just kicked off today, for all you golf advocates out there. So we got Xander Schauffele is up -9 right now. He has a 3-stroke lead right now. Tony Finau, and there's another guy I think that he's tied with it at -6. And then Rory's lurking in the woods there at -5.
Filing divorce, coming off the win last week. So.
Yeah, filed the divorce. The last time he won at Valhalla, it was when he was with dating Caroline Wozniacki, or however he said.
Wisniewski,
Wisniewski, the tennis player. Yeah. And so he broke up with her back in 2013. That was the last time he won the PGA Championship at Valhalla. So so look out for those betting odds.
Rory's got big things coming this weekend.
Yeah, he's got the revenge fucking game coming on. So let's see what happens there with Rory out there at the PGA Championship. So we got a long weekend of golf left going.
Yes,
there.
we do.
Long weekend of golf. So Thursday's a little too early to get too much of a deep dive into that. And then the biggest thing we got now is a schedule release. You know what we're waiting on. We're waiting on, that NFL schedule release, which shows you why the NFL is the biggest, baddest league on the planet. That the schedule release is going to be major news because no other league does the schedule release get so much pub.
No, I mean, usually they release the schedule and you're like, oh,
yeah,
whatever.
Like who gives a shit? They only got so many games. But the NFL, I mean, that's a big deal, and they've done a great job making sure every month there's something that you have to look forward to. This is our last thing to look forward to. So, what have you seen on the schedule release that you want to dive into?
The one that popped out, I didn't even realize this was happening until I seen it, but the game in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Oh yeah,
going down to Brazil, Philadelphia, Green Bay.
Yeah.
That actually should turn out to be a really good game for the fans down there.
Oh, yeah, that should be a great game for the fans. I think they said that a lot of Packers contingency down there. I guess maybe the colors are similar to the Brazil colors.
Oh, yeah, because you got the green and gold. So, that makes sense. That makes sense for them to be Packers fans. No, that's kind of exciting. It's just one step closer to a global football league. Eventually, it will happen.
And pretty much this year, we have games every day except for Tuesday.
Yep.
Every day. There's going to be a Wednesday game. There's going to be Friday games.
Yeah, because you got the opening. You got Thursday night opening weekend, then Friday, and then we're going to have.
And then we got a Black Friday game
games,
again. And then this year on Christmas, you got the 2 Wednesday games of Christmas. So so that's what. Speaking of that, so the week one, what I highlighted was the Ravens and Chiefs. The Ravens and Chiefs kick off the season with Thursday Night Football. Rematch of that playoff game there. So the Chiefs, that's going to be another banner celebration for them.
Raising that banner again.
Them trying to shoot for their three-peat. Let's see what happens with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. See if they remember to run the ball this time around.
Yeah, run the ball.
Yeah, so remember to run the ball this time around with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I don't see how they're going to forget to do that.
Pound that rock.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Then we got, like you said, the Packers-Eagles. That's that Friday night game. All right, then I got the Sunday night game that week is the Rams at Lions.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice one. That's Stafford coming back to Detroit again, so let's see what happens.
Another playoff rematch.
Yeah, another playoff rematch, which I thought that last year during the playoffs, and I thought Stafford might go into Detroit and win that game, but Detroit held strong, won that game out.
They did.
So, let's see what happens there this season here with them going back. Jared Goff just got paid.
He did. He got
extended.
a big old fat guaranteed 170 or 172.
Yes,
wow.
he got paid. He got blessed.
So how does that work under the cap? Because that is bonus money, isn't it? Or...
Yeah, so what happens is that it allows you to have a lot of flexibility when you do that. So when you sign a quarterback to that big of a contract, then you have room to push it on the back end, or you can pay that money up front on the bonus end, and the way they can structure it is where it doesn't impact and hit the cap as much. So that's
what ultimately results in that dead cap space.
Yes,
though,
if you get rid of them. Yeah, if you get rid of them, which is what was so crazy about what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson last year. So
that's interesting too, because he goes back to Denver in week 2.
Yes, that's
right
going to
off
be
the
fun.
bat. Steelers and Broncos.
He's going to love to want to stick it to Sean Payton if all possible.
Yes.
And I know Mike Tomlin's is going to get him geeked up, ready to go to do so. So let's see what happens there, because I don't know what Denver's defense is going to look like, because we still don't know. They replace us with Justin Simmons.
Yeah,
they lost a lot.
That's going to be a totally different team.
Absolutely. Then the last one for week 1 that I had was the Jets at Niners. The Jets at the Niners. So we saw what happened last year when they
Monday Night Football.
Yes, when Aaron Rodgers kicked off, carrying out the flag, 4 plays in, season over. So these Jets fans they're chomping at the bit to hope this is it. This is their time.
I'd hate to see him blow the other one out.
You know what? If he does, it's it's over. It's a wrap. But I think they'll be okay. They really bolstered up their offensive line a lot. I mean, they brought Tyron Smith, former Cowboy. See how well healthy he can stay. They also brought in, was it Morgan Moses from Baltimore? There was another lineman they brought in, and I think, and they also drafted the kid out of Penn State. Olafonsu, I think is how you say it.
So what's interesting about the NFL this year, they're doing the late division games again this year. Like you're getting your 6, most of your division games, probably 4 out of your 6 games are coming in the last 6 weeks of that season. Right. So the Jets actually in week 16 have to go to Buffalo. So if that division's on the line, they have to go up to Buffalo late in the season in that cold. And then the next week, week 17, they go down to Miami. So
I mean, it can be tight.
That's 2 tough weeks.
They can be very tight. Season. Yeah, very tight. I mean, we'll see how they
go.
But
they do have a late bye week. I believe it's week 13.
And you got to love those late bye weeks, because I mean, that's almost like a whole refresher and reboot for your whole season there.
That's the thing about the Lions this year. They have an early bye week, unlike last year where they had a middle bye week.
Yeah.
This one's in week 5, the earliest bye week you can have.
Yeah, that week 5 bye week, man. I know most players probably don't like that as much. I mean, you still
just getting into the season.
Yeah, you're just getting into your groove,
now you got to shut it down.
You would much rather have that extra week of body recovery later on in the season. So I mean, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so then we got the Thanksgiving Day games. That's where I kind of highlighted there, because it's really hard to project what's going to be featured matchups, because we don't know what injuries are going to happen and flex schedule and all that type of stuff. And main thing injury-wise, you just really don't know what's going to happen. But we know
Chicago going to Detroit.
Yep, Chicago going to Detroit, the Bears and Lions, and that's actually going to be a game people might want to watch actually this year.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
That will be a game you'll want to watch this year.
Back in the past when you used to get Bears and Lions, you're like, shit, I'll sleep through that one.
I eat the turkey, go to sleep.
Yeah, I partied the night before, got my skanks given in. It's like fuck that. So but this will be one that you actually want to get up for to watch. Then we got the Giants and the Cowboys. We'll see where the Giants are at. We'll see where the Cowboys are at at that range. But I mean, we got Giants and Cowboys there. We got Daniel Jones still in the fold there for the Giants, and we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I just the Giants this year. No Saquon now.
And I feel like this might be ripe time for them to actually move on from Brian Daboll too as well. So they have a subpar season. I think Daboll's out of there.
They had one good year. I mean, he got that 1 year boost.
Yeah,
and then that happens sometimes with a coach. They come in, they get their first year boost, and then it just fizzles out.
Well, I mean, if you look at a lot of those games too, I mean, they won a lot of games they probably shouldn't have won during that first run there. So I mean, that's that's kind of how the NFL goes, man. The ball bounces funny ways. That's what one of my football coaches told me many years ago.
And Jones actually looked like a quarterback.
Yes,
for a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit. But the funny thing about football is it's the greatest game because the ball's not round.
Right.
You don't know where that bad boy's going to bounce when it hits the ground, and crazy things happen. So the last one to wrap up Thanksgiving is Dolphins at Packers. Dolphins at the Packers.
Packers.
Yes, Dolphins at the Packers on Thanksgiving. That's going to be a good one.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. Well, we'll see. Global warming.
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true.
We don't get it as much as we used to, but you never know. I mean, they might get a little Arctic breeze up there.
Yeah, I mean, it is Green Bay. It's a lot closer to Canada than we are.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see where Tua is during that stage of the season.
Right.
How much OBJ is injecting himself in that offense.
Has Jordan Love taken the next step?
Yes, if Jordan Love's taking that step. The Dolphins have lost a lot on defense, too, so there's going to be a lot to be able to see with the Dolphins defense. That's going to be my biggest thing to see as far as where their defense is at this point, at that point in the season. And then we got the Black Friday game. We got the Raiders at the Chiefs. Raiders at the Chiefs for the Black Friday game. We got the Black Friday game, Raiders at the Chiefs.
The Raiders are going to be interesting this year.
They will. I mean, they got Gardner Minshew now.
They got
Minshew Mania.
The mustached mania.
Yeah, we got Minshew Mania, so we'll see what happens with Gardner Minshew against the Chiefs there. I mean,
because they signed, who did they sign as their running back?
They
didn't sign anybody. They just lost Jacobs.
Yeah, they just lost Jacobs.
Yeah,
I think Zamir White. I think it's just
White's going to take over.
Yeah, he's going to be the one they're bringing back as the lead back as of right now. Anyway, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you're bringing in a young stud tight end. Maybe he can be.
Yeah, they got Michael Mayer in, so they're probably going to run a lot of two tight end sets between Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. So they're going to run a lot of two tight end sets. You still got Devontae
Adams. Yeah, because Mayer's had a good year.
He had a good year, especially with the makeshift quarterback that they were using the whole season long.
Aiden Collins.
Yeah, exactly. So then the next up we got is the Christmas games. We got the Chiefs a lot of prime action
I mean,
here,
Chiefs are going to be in prime time.
Yeah, I think the only other team that has more games than them actually is the Jets. The Jets have 6 primetime games this year.
The Lions have 6 primetime.
Do they? Lions do as well? Yeah, so the Chiefs are playing the Steelers on Christmas Day. So sorry, NBA. You lost that holiday,
again.
You lost that holiday again. The NFL said, you know what? Great ratings. Fuck your holiday. I don't care if it's a Wednesday. Right. We're playing football on Christmas again. So we got the Chiefs at the Steelers. So that's going to be a great game there up in Pittsburgh. And then we also got the Ravens at the Texans, which that should be a barn burner. Another playoff rematch.
Yes.
Playoff rematch where the Ravens handled the Texans last year, but Texans got Stephon Diggs. They made a couple big moves, so let's see what happens there.
The Texans should be a better team this year. They were a good team last year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to be solid. The Texans they're going to be a handful. I mean, the whole AFC South is going to be much better because I like what the Titans did. We talked about that last week. I think as far as the moves the Titans made. So that division is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough. So that was what I covered on the slate there for the just some of them marquee matchups, big primetime games through the course of the season. Because like I said, we won't really know what are going to be the big matchups till we really dive into the season, get all the free agents signed.
Your week 1 injuries, preseason injuries. It happens every year, as much as you hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean you never know. So to try to pinpoint a big matchup right now is really really hard.
Right.
The last thing I had was on here was the Super Bowl odd favorites here. Okay. So through FanDuel, we have the Niners are the odds-on favorites at plus 550. The Chiefs are next up at plus 600. We had the Ravens, at plus 950. 950. And then we have the Bengals, Lions, and Bills all at plus 1300. That's like 13. That's roughly your top 5.
Bengals, Lions, Bills.
Bengals, Lions, Bills. All of your so that rounds are roughly your top 5. I say your top 5 because those last 3 teams are tied for that 4th, 5th position there. So I mean, that's what the odds makers are liking right now. As far as so that means they think the Bills are still going to be there in action. They think the Bengals are going to bounce back with Joe Burrow. We'll see what happens with that wrist injury because I mean it was a little dicey.
Yeah,
for him,
that's tricky.
Yeah. I mean, especially for a quarterback, because they said that's like the first quarterback to have that injury. That's usually a linebacker, defensive back surgery that he had to have. Typically, there's no quarterback that's had that before, where you supposedly lose a lot of range of motion within your wrist. So we'll see what happens. But Joe Burrow's a dog, so he's not scared to to fucking go at it. So.
Well, they actually KC and the Bengals play week 2, so KC's got a tough 2 games coming out of the Ravens Bengals right off the bat.
Oh yeah, I think they said the Ravens actually have the toughest schedule out of everybody going into this season. Yeah, I think they have 10 teams that they're playing that were former playoff teams last season.
Okay. So, the Cowboys actually played 9 playoff teams this year.
Really? Yeah. And that's mainly early on. So they actually the back end of their schedule is actually pretty favorable. If they can survive through that early part of the season, they can go on a run at the end. Yeah,
because they've got Cleveland in week 1, and then Baltimore in week 3, and then the Lions in week 6, and then you got the Niners in week 8, and then after that it does because then you got the Giants and Washington.
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of strange, but we'll see. But again, you never know. Division
but
games.
They play the AFC North so they're going to have to play, Baltimore, Cleveland, Bengals,
Pittsburgh,
and the Steelers.
I mean, that's going to be tough.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as that's the NFL news covering that. That's probably all we got for a little while there, brother. Unfortunately,
yeah, for the NFL, that will be it. Now it's just going to be looking over your fantasy lineups and hearing about who's moving up on the depth charts.
Yeah, we still got free agents out there. I think Justin Simmons is still out there. Dalvin Cook's still out there. There's a couple guys that still could actually make some impact on some rosters.
Oh yeah, I actually started looking at fantasy stuff last week.
Did you? Yeah, it's a three-time champion.
It's time. It's time to start cranking up that fantasy.
Yes, it is. We're almost getting there.
So on to the Cardinals news for the week. So they went 3-4 last week. I mean, you went 1-3 against the Brewers, which was not good, but you went 2-1 against the Angels. So they're 18-25 overall right now, on pace for a worse record than they had last year. Still, like right now, they're on pace for a worse record than last year. So we talked about Goldschmidt last week.
Yeah,
and he has turned it around a little bit, but the frightening thing is, for his last 5 games, he's 7 for 23 with 2 homers, but he's also struck out 12 times. Yeah, that's over 50% strikeout rate. Yeah. That is unsustainable. Like, you're never going to get out of a funk striking out half your at-bats.
Well, what that shows is his bat is slowing down.
Oh, it's definitely
his bat is definitely slowing down.
So, for whatever talk last off, do we sign Goldschmidt? Or, no. This is it. This is his last season as a Cardinal.
It has to be. It absolutely has to be.
Now, they were talking about Arenado heating up. Well, I just haven't seen it because he's 2 for his last 23.
Yeah.
2 for his last 23 with 0 walks. And he's just flailing up there.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he looks really uncomfortable at the plate right now when you watch him. He really does.
Wynn has actually he's been keeping his solid season going. He's 7 for 19 in his last 5 with 2 walks, so that's an on-base percentage over 400. You will always take that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, especially with the
playing
defense.
Good defense. Yeah. The big thing, the starters have to go deeper in these games.
Yeah.
Lance Lynn is barely averaging 5 innings. The same with Michaelis. Sonny Gray's giving you 6 every time he goes out. Kyle Gibson's the only one really eating up starters innings, but he's not very good. So.
Yeah, I mean he's just getting through the starts, but I mean not necessarily very efficiently.
So yeah, they're 18-25. I mean, it's not looking like it's going to pick up anytime.
Ryan Helsley's look good though. I mean,
he is a dominant closer.
He's been very dominant as a closer.
He's got 13 saves right now. Yeah. I think he's only blown 1 for the season. So
yeah, I think they're I think they were tied for third as far as save percentages, like 78%.
Yeah, no, their bullpen's been decent.
Yeah, their bullpen's been good.
They just cannot hit. They just cannot hit.
I mean, their offense has been waking up a little bit, but I mean, it's been kind of slow sailing so far. I mean, so we'll see.
Oh, Burleson's been hitting well lately.
Yeah, Burleson definitely has been hitting well.
He's cranked some home runs. Carpenter's had a couple of good games since he come back. So.
Yeah, we need Tommy Edman back too. I just think that. I mean, in the most desperate way, we need Edman back in Edman form. We definitely do.
So one last thing, I've got boxing. So it's Fury Usyk this weekend. Would you say in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
What'd you say at noon on Saturday?
Noon, 11 o'clock our time.
So if you got to be a real diehard boxing fan to get a pay-per-view at noon on Saturday.
Yes, you do.
Or is it
ESPN Plus, maybe?
Yeah, is it on Danzy or
ESPN Plus? I think maybe.
So Fury's a -120. If you're interested in betting, boxing, you got to pick out the round and whether you want the knockout or if it goes full distance. I've actually never bet on boxing, so I don't know.
Yeah, I did one time, but I mean, it's a hard one because, you want to go on the odds on favorite, picking an upset in boxing. There's very.
Yeah,
I think
tough.
The last time I remember a good odds on like a favorite over a it's in heavyweight boxing anyway was going back to Evander Holyfield Riddick Bowe.
Oh shit!
Because everybody goes for sure Evander Holyfield. Right. And I think I remember being in the 7th, 8th grade. I think laying that one on Riddick Bowe. They actually ran a little book in my middle school. I actually ran on that because I knew nobody else knew who Riddick Bowe was.
That was one of my favorite boxing games growing up all time. Riddick Bowe's boxing on Super Nintendo. That was an awesome game.
I cleaned up on those 8th grade kids and knew nothing about boxing.
So Usyk is +100 right now. I mean, this really just Fury's just the technical boxer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got such the size advantage over him. He should just lean on him and wear him down.
Usyk was a former cruiserweight champion.
Yeah, Usyk is not a big guy.
And this is a unifier for the belts too as well. First time I think the belts will be unified since Lennox Lewis held the belt.
Since Lewis. So I think Fury wins this one.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we got for sports right now, man.
That's it.
So we'll be counting it down, looking up here. WNBA's heating up apparently. The girls are getting hot out there in the basketball courts. So we might dive into some of that a little bit next week.
By the time we talk to you guys again, the NBA and NHL will be into the conference finals.
Yes,
so
sir.
We'll have a better on who. We'll know more likely who's going to win the championship.
Yeah, we'll have a clear review on that one. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button there. Make sure you give us some ratings, add to the comment section. We appreciate you guys tuning in every week for Bets and Buds.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Thanks again for True on the Track for blessing us with those beats. It's been a good time seeing you guys again. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Let's have
Peace.
these.